Hey everyone, Richard Phillips back at you with some more modern action. Today we are going to be playing a deck that I have been working on with my buddy Kory Pringle. It is Bant Reclamation. So around Magic Online and a little bit in paper, there have been Sultai Reclamation lists that go around, and the premise of the Sultai Reclamation list is to play Wilderness Reclamation, which is a powerhouse in Standard right now, along with Nexus of Fate, to basically allow you to almost cheat on mana in a control deck, or at least in a combo control deck. So you can, at the end step, tap all your lands, untap them with the Wilderness Reclamation, and then cast something like a Nexus of Fate, take another turn, and gain a little bit of an advantage while you're doing that. However, a lot of the Sultai lists, I think, are very... I think they're very underperforming compared to where they could be. I think they're missing a lot of cards, specifically Search for Azcanta, which is probably the strongest card in a Reclamation deck. And also, it's just not playing one of the best cards in Modern, which is Path to Exile, in terms of buying you time. This is the best removal spell in Modern. And playing a Bant version of the deck makes a lot more sense. The only thing that's really awkward about the mana base for this is that we're kind of a 4-color deck. We're playing Bant colors plus we're splashing black for the Mystical Teachings flashback. So we do have one Watery Grave right over here to cast that. In most matchups, that's fine. That's really all you'll need. In a lot of matchups, you can just use Snapcaster Mage to cast Mystical Teachings for 3 and a blue, even if you don't have the black mana. It's not really important to shock it in very often. You can usually just find it with an extra fetch land. We are playing 8 fetch lands. We also, with white, get access to all of these sideboard cards like Celestial Purge, Ruined Halo, Timely, Cast Out, which is a card we can search for with Mystical Teachings as like a catch-all to get rid of Planeswalkers or enchantments, something like that. And we also get Settle the Wreckage, 1 main, 1 in the board, which is actually a instant speed board wipe that is kind of lacking in the Sultai lists. We also get to play Night of Autumn, which is one of my favorite cards in Modern. It's very good in this deck because the opponents will try to attack you on an axis that allows you to basically just play creatures and win sometimes. Like against control decks, you can just play this as a 4-3 and win the game. Against decks like War Prison, you can just play this out, destroy something, and start beating down with it. Against Burn, you can gain 4 life and block something and hope to win the game that way. So this just does a lot of really cool things and has been very... I guess impressive for me recently. We're also playing a Cyclonic Rift. This is one of the best ways for this deck to come back from some crazy board states where it's super behind. I like this over some cards that the Sultai Reclamation lists have been playing, like the one that destroys all the artifacts and enchantments and you gain 2 life. I forget exactly what it's called, but I like this better. It just does more things. And that's about it, guys. So you'll see this is like a tempo combo control deck. It's really interesting. It has a lot of really cool lines. Growth Spiral is definitely the best card in the deck. If you don't have a hand with a Growth Spiral in it, it gets a little bit tricky sometimes to try to win the game. But it'll be fun. And please let me know what lines you see that I miss. There's a lot of different things that we can be doing. Teferi stacks Wilderness Reclamation, and it's sometimes weird when untapping lands. So please let me know what I miss, and I'll see you guys at the beginning of round 1. Alright everyone, welcome to round number 1. So this hand is a little bit sketchy. We do have this Growth Spiral, but Plains doesn't cast Growth Spiral. I think we're still okay keeping this hand. We can cycle this Hieroglyphic Illumination if we don't draw a land on one. Alright, so we're playing against Tron right off the bat. So in general, I think Tron is a very good matchup for us, but they certainly have hands that they can just run us over with. Alright, and I'm clicking through too fast here. Alright, so we'll play that and pass. I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm just going to get a green-blue land, so a breeding pool I guess that is, and cycle this Hieroglyphic Illumination because we really need to hit lands. Alright, so the opponent looks like they're going to have Tron on turn 3, which on the play Tron on turn 3 is a little rough for us. We do have one Field of Ruin in the deck. Alright, so there's the breeding pool, and then we will cycle this. Alright, we hit a Settle the Wreckage, which is probably the worst card that we could have drawn. Maybe Nexus of Fate would have been worse. Yeah, Nexus of Fate would have been worse. But this is still not great. Alright, so the opponent gets the Mine, so they'll have Tron next turn. We drew a Snapcaster Mage. Alright, so I don't have a stop on my draw step. I'm used to having one on my draw step, so this is bothering me a little bit. I added a stop on my draw step. Alright. So we're going to play our land and pass. And there's no reason for me to really have a stop on my draw step. I'm just used to it, so yeah. Alright, so the opponent has a Karn, so we'll just remand the Karn. And we have to draw a land. Yeah, this isn't good. Alright, so we need to draw a land, and then Karn's gonna resolve. Yeah, we're in a rough spot. We have 25 lands in the deck. Alright, there's a Misty. Alright, so... Alright, I mean, this kind of works. So what we can do here is we can just cast Snapcaster Mage and then path our own Snapcaster Mage to make sure we hit the 4th land. But, you know, that's not great. Maybe the opponent will just tick it up. Yeah, okay, so they're just going to do that. So am I supposed to just path here, or am I supposed to use the Growth Spiral? I think I'm supposed to just path my own creature here, which feels awful. So we'll go ahead and get another Breeding Pool. And then we're going to go Snapcaster Mage. Oh, and then we'll target that, I guess. And then path it. Alright, we'll just get our island and pass. This is not a good spot for us. I guess a land here. Yeah, alright, we did draw the land. Alright. So that's at least something. So the opponent can tick down to get rid of another land, or they can tick up. If they tick up, we're just going to get rid of the Settle the Wreckage. That's fine. If they tick down, we're a little bit less happy, but we still have Snapcaster Remand up, or even Snapcaster Path the Snapcaster to hit another land drop, which is pretty reasonable also, honestly. Alright, so the opponent just does that. That's fine. Alright. Alright, so we're down a Karn, down 2 lands now. Opponent has a crap ton of mana. Is this another one? Yeah. Alright, we're done. Well, yeah, we're done. Yeah, we can't come back from this. That's just way too much. That means we're going to be down 3 lands now, so we have 3 lands during our turn. Yeah, that's just not good. Alright, so we're going to bring in Night of Autumn. We're going to bring in Cast Out in this matchup. There's a little bit of a merit of bringing in Surgical Extraction, just because we can surgical some of our opponent's threats. That's how we're going to win this matchup, is just by getting rid of all their threats. But we don't really have enough to cut for that, in my opinion, because we can cut like a path, because we don't need that many. We can cut the Settle the Wreckage, and then we have to cut another card somewhere. Maybe we'll cut a Snapcaster Mage just because they're going to bring in Graveyard Hate. So maybe those 3 for these 3. Yeah, I guess we'll just do that. That sounds good to me. I don't really see anything else here that we particularly want. Alright. This hand is very good. We have our one of Field of Ruin, which actually can do a lot of work in this matchup. And I think we'll cycle a Hieroglyphic Illumination on 1. Because our best draw would be a green source, preferably a green-blue source, because we do want to eventually cast a Cryptic Command. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and cycle that. That's fine. We were going to do that regardless of what our opponent played, so I'm fine doing that now. Like, sure, our opponent gets a little bit of free information, but we also get F6 value. And I'm trying to get this video done in a reasonable amount of time. Alright, cool. So we did draw a green source, which is excellent. So we can play that next turn, then play the Growth Spiral, play the Plains out, and then get the Field of Ruin, get our second blue source, and then we're set up for Hieroglyphic Illumination. Oh, that's even better. Okay, so we will just play this, because this way we can save ourselves 2 life by just playing the Breeding Pool tapped off the Growth Spiral. So very happy about that. And then we can Field of Ruin the next turn. Alright, so the opponent plays Mine second. Alright, so they're going to Stirrings, and they'll find what card? They find Expedition Map. Interesting. Alright, I still think it's probably worthwhile going after this Mine here. We can't assume that our opponent doesn't have Tron next turn, and if they do have Tron, we're potentially in a lot of trouble if we just let it resolve. So I think I'm okay with just playing the using the Field of Ruin here. That way we can assure ourselves that our opponent isn't going to play something that costs more than 3 mana. Oh, good. And then we can just curve into Teferi the following turn. That's pretty excellent, honestly. All right, so we'll go ahead and get rid of that. There's no reason for us to get double Plains. Plains is actually really bad. The only reason we have double Plains is for the Runed Halos in the board that I want to be able to play through a Blood Moon. The second Plains is definitely the sketchiest of the lands we have in this deck. All right, so there is a... Whoops, what did I do? Yield until next turn. All right, so we'll turn off auto yields. There is a legitimate chance that I'm going to want to just cast the Snapcaster Mage here, just to get something going on the battlefield. Trying to think if there's... Okay, the opponent plays a Sphere, and they find the Mine and play it, so we know they still have Expedition Map in hand. All right, I think we're fine here just playing Teferi. We don't need to play the Snapcaster Mage yet, especially with finding a Growth Spiral off the top. It's a very nice draw. All right, so we're going to play the Teferi. We'll tick up. All right, cool. And we even find a land, so we can cast this Growth Spiral. We'll untap a Breeding Pool and an island, and then we can cast the Growth Spiral and play the Misty Rainforest, and then get a tapped Watery Grave. So we're all set up to cast our cards on the flashback. And Teferi is still very good against Tron. The opponent does need to answer this. This is gaining us tremendous card advantage and mana advantage, especially after this turn. All right, so the opponent does go for the Ancient Stirring, so there is a chance they could just hit Tron here, and they do. All right, so they hit the turn for Tron. Let's see what they play, though. That's the big question. So if they have, like, Karn here, that's a lot worse for us. All right, Thought-Knot Seer is not great, but it's also not the worst because we can just path it. So we'll just Growth Spiral here. All right, we find this Misty Rainforest. We'll let the Thought-Knot Seer resolve. And then with that on the stack, I'll just go ahead and path it, because the rest of the hand is pretty redundant. Like, they can take the Snapcaster Mage, and we'll just cast Hieroglyphic Illumination. They can take the Illumination, we'll just snap Illumination. But we don't have a redundant Path to Exile, and it does pressure this Teferi quite a bit. And there's no reason for us to get the Black Source right now. We don't need it. We don't have a card that casts anything with it. And we do get to draw another card off this first. So we'll just go ahead and path it here. Like, yeah, there's a Mystical Teaching. So the opponent can take the Mystical Teachings. But then, I mean, we just drew that card and we removed their threat anyway. So I'm fine with that. Like, sure, yeah, they take it. That's fine. We have a bunch of really good live draws here. The best is probably Cryptic Command. The next best would probably be Reclamation. Okay, Oblivion Stone is a little bit awkward. There's some incentive here to minus the Teferi on the Oblivion Stone. I think we should just start by drawing here, and depending on what we draw, we can decide whether or not we want to tick up Teferi or not. Alright, so we drew a Nexus of Fate. I think there's probably just a lot more upside in just bouncing this to our opponent's library and then just holding up Remand. So we know that the opponent's card, so the card on top of their library currently is the Oblivion, or the Oblivion ring. So the opponent has now drawn the Oblivion ring, and then they 5 mana to destroy everything. So if we just remand this, then they have to take a whole nother turn before they can blow it up, which means that we get to draw an additional card, and we actually get to take another turn, so we can draw an additional 2 cards, which is nice. You definitely need something going in order to cast the Nexus of Fate. Like, Nexus of Fate doesn't really do anything unless you have something like a Teferi going. And even just drawing an extra card isn't great. We just are basically turning the Nexus of Fate into, like, a double explore, which in itself is not, like, you know, something amazing. But if you compare it with something like a Reclamation or anything like that, it's pretty good. Alright, so this isn't great. The opponent is going to... Oh, they just found a mine. That's super interesting. Okay. I was going to say they can find their the land that lets them find the rest of their Ulamogs. Alright, Colonnade. So the Colonnade's a fine draw, but not like the most amazing thing ever. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3, 6. So we can just, I guess, cast the Nexus of Fate and untap 2 lands. It doesn't really matter what. So we're just going to cast this Nexus of Fate. That's fine. We'll untap 2 lands. Don't really matter, but because we're not going to do anything with that mana, we'll just pass the turn here. Flooded Grove. That's something that we're doing right now, is flooding. We also could have just minused on the Oblivion Stone again, but I think I was fine with our decision to not to there. So we can play the Flooded Grove. We play the Flooded Strand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Attack with this. So then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana up. So we can snap Hieroglyphic Illumination still if we do this. Yeah, I guess that's fine. And because we have these fetches here, I don't want to expose myself to the black land to a possible destruction spell here. So I guess we'll just get an island here. I don't think it matters too much. So we'll go ahead and get in with the Colonnade and then untap 2 lands so that we have Snapcaster, Hieroglyphic Illumination up. So we are going to lose this Teferi, probably, unless our opponent does something very strange. I don't know why they wanted to... Oh, they did have the Sanctum of Ugin in hand. Interesting. All right. So we'll see what they cast. And I'm assuming they're going to go search for Ulamog. Ooh, World Breaker's pretty rough, isn't it? All right. So we'll float a blue mana here. Opponent searches. They probably get an Ulamog. Yeah, they got the Ulamog. Okay. So World Breaker resolves. And then I guess we're going to do the Snapcaster play. I just don't like it, though. So we'll Snapcaster. Illumination, because we do need to draw some action. There's a chance we could have waited here, but I don't think I like that. The opponent's going to get to Ulamog, but I'd like... Okay, so Reclamation's pretty good. Oh, and the other Snapcaster Mage is good too. All right, so we have now paths for both of the creatures, which is kind of important. Oh, the opponent's going to let us draw with Teferi. Interesting. All right, so we'll start off by drawing, I guess. I wasn't expecting that. I thought our opponent would blow up the Oblivion Stone before that. Oh, we drew a cast out. That's kind of nice, actually. All right, so we'll just play this Misty, and we'll pass the turn. There's no reason to put out more things because the opponent's just going to blow up this Oblivion Stone here at the end of the turn. And I'm also not going to crack this Misty because there's no real reason to right now. We don't want the land getting blown up by the Ulamog that we know is going to come down this upcoming turn. So there's no reason to do anything with this Teferi. I guess I could have floated 2, but that's fine. Sure. Okay, so we'll just let that resolve. That's fine. Oh, the opponent doesn't want to blow up their own expedition map. That's interesting. Okay, so the opponent's just gonna... That's fine. This is actually good, because this means that the Oblivion Stone is just gonna blow up the... Or the Ulamog's just gonna blow up the Teferi, which I think is a win for us. We're gonna go, like, for Teferi plus... oh, geez, I don't even know. Okay, so Teferi plus Hallowed Fountain. So that's fine. So we can actually get rid of most of the things on the board here. Huh. All right. I think the opponent was very... I don't really know how to explain it, but I think our opponent is underestimating the ability for the deck that we have here to come back from the position that we found ourselves in here. Because like we can go Snapcaster Path this, or we can just cast it out, or we can even cast out the Oblivion Stone. So maybe like getting on the beatdowns here is pretty solid. We can just go here, Path to Exile, Path the Ulamog. And, like, sure, the opponent gets more lands, but we already kind of knew how many lands they had. And we can get a white source here and just get rid of this Oblivion Stone now. So that way we can untap and maybe use all our mana. Like, we're at 13. I don't think we're going to win or lose this game because of how much mana we have. Or how much life we have, rather. And then this can still get the black source, and it thins our deck slightly. Alright, Flooded Strand's definitely not a good draw. Definitely not a good draw. We'll play the Wilderness Reclamation. Attack our opponent for 4. And just hope to dodge some stuff. Oh, opponent just concedes. Wow. Alright. Whew. Okay, well, we weren't certainly not going to win, but we... okay, we had Teachings on top, so maybe we could have won. But, yeah, that went pretty well. Alright, any changes? No, I think we're pretty good with this setup. That seemed to work really well. Alright, this game's going to be a little bit harder to win, I think. Double Remand. Opponent mulligans. We need to draw a land in the top 3 cards. So the Nexus of Fate is almost like a mulligan anyway, so I guess we are just going to mulligan this. Alright. Opponent mulligans to 5. Keeps the 5. Alright. We will 100% put another land on top. That's great. Okay, the opponent goes mine. Beginning the setup here. We'd love for them not to have a second Tron piece here. That would be great. If they just have to like spin their wheels a little bit here. If they go like green and yeah, I don't know. They're set up in a way that the one Tron land Chromatic Star start usually means they are going to be able to find at least a second Tron piece on the second turn. But if they can stumble just a little bit, that would be great. And of course not. Oh, okay, so they don't have a way to search for the third Tron piece. That's great. We definitely want to cycle this Illumination because we want to hit extra lands because these Growth Spirals work a lot better if they're better than just cycle. We also need to hit colored mana, so yeah. Alright, these better be good remands. So we need to like remand into a land and then Growth Spiral into a land. Opponent has Tron on 3. That's terrible. And it's a Karn. Alright, so we'll remand. Alright, we drew a land, so that's the first part good. There's another land. Okay, so we at least have a shot here. The opponent's going to get to resolve a Karn, but we're going to get to resolve a Wilderness Reclamation and make our opponent blow it up. I guess this is good. Oh, the opponent goes for Thought-Knot Seer. Wow. Deal. We get green-white, I guess, here. Yeah, alright, so we get green-white. Yes. And then we just want to get all of our lands going here. So we'll Growth Spiral. Alright, put the Misty into play. And then do the same thing again. So we'll just... I guess we'll get blue... Yeah, we'll get Breeding Pool here. And then the opponent has to choose, I guess, between taking Snapcaster Mage and Knight of Autumn. Knight of Autumn actually blocks the Thought-Knot Seer really well, which is really awkward for the opponent. Okay. Oh, and the second Wilderness Reclamation is great. So the opponent, I guess, takes one of the other two because... So they take Snapcaster Mage here, I think, is what makes the most sense. If they take anything except for Snapcaster Mage, I don't really understand. Because the way our hand's set up currently, we can Wilderness Reclamation, and then... Oh, they took a Wilderness Reclamation. Okay, sure. Oh, they have another Thought-Knot Seer? Yeesh. Okay. This is a little bit more awkward. Actually, this is really awkward because now we can't cast this Snapcaster Mage. I mean, I guess we can. We can just, like, Snapcaster Remand our opponent's play, but that just is so bad. Oh, we just drew a Remand. Alright, I think we need to pass, because if we just play out the Knight of Autumn, the opponent just plays Karn and kills it, which isn't... That doesn't get us anywhere. So we're going to take 8 down to 6. And then hopefully the opponent casts Karn and we can Snapcaster Remand it. Oh gosh. Alright, so that's 6. They have 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 mana. So 12 isn't 14, I guess, which is a good thing. But that's still a lot. Alright, so what has to happen here is the opponent has to play Karn. They have Ulamog. Jeez. Snapcaster, Remand, the Ulama. Actually, that doesn't even do anything. All right, we're just so dead. All right, we're dead. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 2 against LSV. We are going to mulligan this hand, but this is really cool. All right, I'm going to top that. Just telling LSV that I'm a big fan. Okay, the opponent looks like they might be on Amulet, maybe? We'll see what LSV's doing here. We're just going to play Colonnade and pass. Definitely the best start here. Wonder if he's streaming. He might be streaming. Okay, so it is Amulet. Interesting. Actually, not that interesting, but still. All right, we'll play as Kanta. That's fine. We'll pass. The Path to Exile is nice insurance here. Oh, there's the Azusa. Okay. Sure. Bog me. Yep. It's not great. Yeah, let's put Illumination in the graveyard. That's fine. We drew another Illumination, which isn't great. Play a land and pass. We're definitely going to cycle one of these Illuminations here. Amulet's also really bad for us. Just getting wrecked here by LSV playing, you know, some sort of shenanigans here with the. Okay, sure, they got a Coalition Relic. That's fine. Yep. Sure, they're just gonna put the charge counter on it now. That's fine. Do we? Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think we accept that trade, even though I kind of wanted to take it. All right, so let's get. I guess we'll just get the Watery Grave here because this is the green source we need. So that's fine. Put Hallowed Fountain in the graveyard. No, I think we want to draw that. Yeah, let's just play that and we'll pass the turn. Holding up Cryptic, which we obviously don't have, but the opponent doesn't know that, and they probably won't just run a Titan into it. I mean, they might, but, you know, they might not. We'll see. Sure. Oh, they get Cavern of Souls. Okay, interesting. Good play from LSV. Think they might be one off casting a Titan. No, okay, they actually have the Titan here. That's fine. All right. So we'll get the Titan. That's fine. We'll let the opponent get a couple of things. We'll just path it. Sure. Just path it. Opponent will attack us. Sure. Nope. Mystical Teachings in the graveyard. Yep. Draw a card. It's a Growth Spiral, which is a good one. Is there a reason to shock this in? Yes, that way we can Teachings for Path if we need to. We can also Snapcaster for Path, but, you know, that's, yeah, just something that we can do. Opponent has another one. That's a little bit rough. Sure. We'll let the opponent search out the two things that they want, and then we'll Snap Path it, I guess. All right, so now we will cast Snapcaster and path it. All right. To note, the opponent does have a Ghost Quarter, which is possibly a problem, or potentially a problem, almost definitely a problem. Opponent can actually just go ahead and cast another Titan here, which kind of sucks, but they shouldn't have another way to give it haste. So it's 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Oh, no. Okay, they needed to Teleria West first. So look at the Summoner's Pact. Cast the Summoner's Pact. I don't know where they're getting all this mana from, but okay. Sure. Still only see 4 mana here. Okay, so we know that their hand is Titan. Alright, Growth Spiral. There's the path. Alright, so we do have another answer for their final prime time that they have shown us. Do we want to put a land in the graveyard? Yes, we do, because that'll flip Azcanta a little bit earlier. And we'll just pass here. Alright, so they gotta pay for Pact or they lose. Hopefully they don't have a main deck Zakama. If they have a main deck Zakama, things can get a little bit rough here. Oh wait, they already used the Pact. I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. Sure. So the opponent gets the Primeval Titan. That's fine. Okay, opponent bounces that. See if the opponent goes and tries to give the Primeval Titan haste, because that's when we have to go and kill it. Or if they cycle this, trying to get a Pact in negation. So yeah, this is when they would do that. We'll just path it here. Opponent has no more lands, which is nice. They get a Walking Ballista. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to block. Sure. Okay. Opponent puts a counter on that. That's fine. And we will just draw a couple cards. Oh, there's a Field Rune. That's nice, actually. All right. So we will flip the Azcanta. Oh, we drew a Wilderness Reclamation. That's awesome. All right, so we will cast the Wilderness Reclamation. Play the island. Okay. Sure. Yes, we'll use Ghost Quarter's ability. Get the island. That's fine. Untap all of our lands. Cast Mystical Teachings. Go ahead and just get a Cryptic command here. And pass the turn. That's fine. So we need to use this Field of Ruin to get rid of this Cavern of Souls. That's like #1 on our list of things to do here. 6, 7. So we just remand it, I guess. Yeah, let's remand it. Into Illumination, that's nice. All right. Sure. All right, so the opponent is going to go get frisky with the plant. Oh, I guess we need to get rid of the Academy. Okay, so the Field of Ruin has to go after the Academy ruins. I'm trying to figure out the best way to win this game. All right. And we'll just take 3 damage. That's fine. All right. So that works. All right, there's Cryptic Command. So we can Field of Ruin the Academy ruins, play Search for Escanta, and pass the turn here. Kind of like that. So we'll go after this first. Go ahead and get this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can Mystical Teachings and then take another turn. Actually, hold on. So if we go 1, 2, so if we play this, then we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which is 1 too few mana to do what I want to do. All right, so we'll do it next turn then. All right, so Mystical Teachings. We'll just go ahead and get our Nexus here. Everything untaps. Take another turn. Okay. And LSV concedes. Nice. All right. So in this matchup, we want Ruined Halos. We want Path to Exile. We want... yeah, maybe just that. I guess Dispel is very good, so we want Dispel also. So we want these 4. We can probably do without a Remand, a Snapcaster Mage. Settle's like a good catch-all, so maybe we need to keep the Settle in. Maybe we don't need this other Path to Exile. Maybe we don't need a Ruined Halo either. Maybe just the 1 Ruined Halo is fine. Yeah, we'll just do that. And this hand looks fine. We'll keep it. All right, Ghost Quarter into Amulet's not a great start for you know, for us to try to beat, but we'll try. They could have the mythical turn 2 here. It's definitely possible. Okay, that's good for us. I'm pretty sure the opponent shouldn't. I don't know what they could have here. I'm a little scared. Oh, just a Coalition Relic. Sure. Okay. We'll cycle this. Find Hieroglyphic Illumination. That's fine-ish. Tribe Scout's rough. Alright, so I think we need to hold up Dispel here because we could very easily lose this turn, and getting down the Search for Escanta doesn't do all that much if we're not going to win the game, you know, like immediately. Sure. Ancient Stirrings resolves. Next turn we can play the Search for Escanta and hold up Dispel. It's probably worth cycling the Illumination because we have Sphinx's Rev and other stuff such as that. Okay. So this is good. The opponent has at least a Ghost Quarter in hand. We know that. We'll go ahead and get Hallowed Fountain because we do have a Ruined Halo in the deck. Alright, and we'll play the Search for Escanta. Sure. Alright, Grove. So we know they have Grove, or Ghost Quarter in hand still, and I think that's it. Rexage, sure. It's a good card. Big fan of Rexage. Sure, they blow up the Escanta, that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but it's a thing that happens. There's the Ghost Quarter that we knew about. Sure. Alright, there's a Reclamation, so we can definitely just cast that here. And then Teachings for something. Sure. So believe it or not, we actually don't have a counterspell, and we also don't have Cryptic Command up. Okay, sure. So this is fine. We will just dispel this. Yeah, we'll just take 3. That's fine. All right, that's great. This is a very good draw, so we'll just go ahead and get a tapped Watery Grave here. Cast Teachings, get Cryptic Command, pass the turn. Sure, another Coalition Relic's fine. There are very few things here that super matter. Okay, yeah, then LSV concedes. Sweet. All right, so good game. Yeah, very happy that we beat LSV. That's awesome. All right, everyone, welcome to round number 3. We're going to call this League a success just because we beat LSV in the last match. I'm still a little tingly. Like, I don't really play, like, I play some higher level Magic tournaments, and I've played against, you know, like Pro Tour winners and stuff like that in paper, but you know, there's just something about playing someone who's so much better than you and winning and like trying not to make a fool of yourself. I'm assuming because he didn't say anything to me, it means he was recording for a video, so there's probably going to be a video out and he'll probably be talking about his plays. It's a very nerve-wracking thing. All right, so now it looks like we're playing against humans, which is a rough matchup, but we do have a good hand against humans. Yeah, that was awesome, guys. I'm very excited. Yeah, we can still get the 4-1 also, which is great. The opponent puts in a vial. This is fine. Champion of the Parish is fine. It's one of the better cards. Again, it's a lot of pressure. Let's just put it that way. I guess we just remand this. We don't know exactly how long this remand's going to be good for, and having it good for that turn is almost as much as we can ask for. I guess we main phase this to figure out whether or not... Yeah, this is not good. All right. So we'll do that, and then we do want to hit our land drop, so we're going to cycle this, and we whiff. This is very bad now. Yeah, so I think we're now no longer able to win this game. And maybe that's not true. A couple things would have to go very right for us. Like, our opponent would have to have basically nothing here. And then they would need to attack into our Settle the Wreckage, which we'd have to draw, as well as 2 white sources. Okay. This is interesting. So they don't want counters on the Freebooter. They want counters on the Lieutenant instead. Okay, I guess I can buy that. So they'll take the path here. Yeah, this is not good. So they take the path. And then we need to draw a land, tap everything down. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how we're going to win this game. Starts drawing a land here. All right, so we did draw the land. So that's good. So at least we're not just dead this turn. Alright, so now we tap all creatures, draw a card. The opponent probably has a Mantis Rider here, but, you know, whatever. Alright, well, there's a White Source. Sure, more Thalia's Lieutenants is fine. Like I said, the way that we're going to win this game is they somehow attack into a Settle the Wreckage. And the chances of them doing that, I think, are pretty low, but sure. So we're going to crack this Flooded Strand to get a Plains, and then tap everything down, and then cycle an Illumination. So we get the Plains. Alright, there's Path to Exile. So we can theoretically chain some paths together if we draw well. So that's nice. I wonder what this is. 3 mana. Oh gosh, people are still playing Kessig Malcontents? That's okay. Well. Alright, Cycle Illumination. Kessig Malcontents, that tech is from like, oof. Like 2017 almost. Like, unbelievable. Alright. Flooded Strand. Alright, so we can snap Cryptic. We're still dead to a lot of things, though. So we need to draw, like, Reclamation and Get Lucky is kind of our outs here. So we need to draw something and also get lucky. Alright, so we'll bring our opponent to combat. Go ahead and get our other Plains. Snapcaster Mage, tap everything down, draw a card. Sure. Alright, so we need to draw, like, exactly Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, Remand is bad. Oh, I guess we still have another Cryptic in hand. Alright, so we have a few more. Oh, this is a... Yeah, alright, we're just dead now. Yeah, okay. There we go. The Kessig Malcontents is real rough. Alright, so in this matchup, we just want things that kill stuff. So the Purges come in, Settle comes in, like Timely comes in. So like these 5 coming out to Fairy, a Mystical Teachings, 2 remands because remand's really bad in general. Maybe even 3 remands. Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, because they have 4 Cavern of Souls, and remand's terrible against Cavern of Souls. All right, we'd love to play first. Oh gosh. All right. Well, this hand can be really good. We need to hit 2 lands and 2 draw steps, or in 3 draw steps. I think we got a mulligan. I mean, this hand's not much better, but I think we got to bottom that too. Yeah. All right. Play the Flooded Strand. We'll get a land. Yeah, this is an expensive hand. All right, so we'll go ahead and get our breeding pool. That's fine. All right, there's a timely. All right, so it's not the worst. We're definitely going to have a lower life total, and we'll probably have fewer creatures. We do really need to hit a land off this growth spiral, though, and then a land for the turn. And then a reclamation. If we hit all those things. So if we hit land, and then draw land for the turn, and then I guess draw reclamation the turn after, we're in good shape. But if we don't do that, it might be a problem. Like this is a problem. All right, there's a Misty. All right, well we can't cast the timely yet, but at least we have a removal spell for something. Maybe we'll see. Thalia's a really bad card for us here. There's a lot of things that are really bad cards for us here. Opponent is not doing anything interesting. Right, I'm not going to crack this Misty. We want to draw land as much as possible. We drew a land. All right. Well, this is good then. So our opponent not doing anything is great. That's exactly what we want. We want our opponent to not do anything and just kind of let us win the game. I doubt that's going to be the case, but, you know. Meddling Mage, that's fine. We'll definitely just flash in a Snapcaster Mage unless they pump it somehow. I don't know what they're going to name here. Maybe Path? They name Cryptic Command. Sure. Alright, because we can't really beat a Gaddock Teeg. Gaddock Teeg is like public enemy #1. That's the card that, oh boy, we definitely can't beat. We need to draw a path for it, and we don't even have that many paths. We only have 4, and the opponent has... Oh, geez. Alright, this is actually pretty bad. Because this means that my plan doesn't really work anymore of flashing in the Snapcaster Mage. Alright. Well. Alright, please no, like, Sin Collector. Sin Collector is probably the worst thing they could have. Or Gaddock Teeg, but I guess they've passed a little bit on Gaddock Teeg at this point. Oh, we drew land. Alright. Yeah, I mean, let's cast the timely reinforcements. Seems pretty good. Certainly doesn't seem bad. So there we go. All right, so we're back up to 19. We have the ability to triple block the Meddling Mage. We can Snapcaster timely at some point if we need to. Like maybe next turn, depending on how they attack. Or if they attack. Opponent has 7 cards in hand, though. Horizon Canopy is a really good card. Okay, that's a Thalia. It's a little worse for them now than it was before. I'm definitely just taking this triple block. Yeah. All right. Okay, opponent vials in Reflect. Why'd they keep in Reflector? I mean, like, yeah, they kind of got me here, but, you know, just because you have the card in your deck doesn't mean you need to bring it in every matchup. I mean, sure, they got us, but that's literally, it's that and Snapcaster Mages. And if you want to Reflector Mage my Snapcaster Mage, like, please do that. Hieroglyphic Illumination. Are we just casting that? I don't think we just die if we cast that, so maybe I'm just casting that and trying to hit lands. Alright. Opponent attacks us for 6 down to 12. If we draw a land, we can Snapcaster timely. If we don't draw a land, I guess we can Illumination again to try to hit one. Man, these Kessig malcontents. Alright, so we're down to 7, so now we can't make the play that I suggested. Okay. Down to 1. Secure the waste. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yep, that's game. Alright, everyone. Welcome to round number 3. Or round number 4, rather. It's been a pretty unsuccessful league so far. We're 1-2, but we did beat LSV. So other than the moral victory against LSV, we're doing pretty well. All right, looks like we're playing against Storm, which, I mean, that can't be a good matchup. I don't think I've played against Storm recently, but whoops. All right, and I'm just shocking in for no reason. Fine. I guess if it's Storm, it doesn't matter as much, but still, like, that's just a bad click. For some reason, my game is lagging a little bit. Maybe they're not. Nah, snow-covered island has to mean Storm, right? Like, I mean, I guess they could be pretty much anything that plays those, but I was just putting them pretty heavily on Storm. All right, so we're going to just shock that in. We have our growth spiral up. If we hit a land off of the growth spiral or our draw step, we're in very good shape, I think. I don't know if Storm really plays... Maybe they do play 3 islands, but something's happening here. Like, we can't just be... Maybe it is just, like, the world's most unlucky Storm draw. I don't know. It seems wrong, though. Alright. Well, we'll play this... this Flooded Strand. We have Cryptic Command up. Opponent's topping with their ops, and I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Three blue mana is weird. Field of Ruin. All right, so they're... I have no idea what they're doing. I guess I'm just gonna run out of Snapcaster Mage here. Like, there's not really a downside to it. If it's a control matchup, I guess I want to just get a clock on our opponent as quick as possible. And this is a 2-for-1 that the opponent will have to answer. And if they're playing some sort of blue control deck, they probably can't answer a Snapcaster Mage very well. Sure, like they remand that, that's fine. Am I supposed to just jam a Teferi here? Probably not. I don't think they would have done that if that wasn't the case. They wouldn't have remanded that if they didn't have another counterspell up. So I guess at the end of the turn, we'll just Sphinx's Rev for 2 or Cryptic Command something. Either one seems pretty fine. I guess we'll just go for the Rev because that's not going to be a particularly useful spell. If they have Cryptic Command here, then we can resolve it to Teferi. If they just have like a remand or something, we're fine with that also. Or if they just let it resolve, that's also fine. Okay, they just let it resolve, that's great. Sure. Just get in there for 2. I mean, the opponent is going to have to do something. Okay. This is fine. Opponent looks like they're on like some sort of mono blue control list, which is, you know, very odd, but okay. Opponent has 6 cards in hand. That's so many. Sure. I'm very confused. All right. Sure. So, yeah, all right. So we'll go green, blue. We'll play this growth spiral at the end of the turn here. All right, there's Search for Ascanta. That's a good one. I guess we'll path this. If the opponent wants to fight over it, then that's good for them. Okay, yeah, they don't want to fight over it. That's fine. Ooh, secure the waste is really good. All right. So we'll attack our opponent for 2, and then we'll play this Search for Azcanta. So our opponent won't be able to Cryptic Command here. They should counter this, though. Sure, they just remand it. That's fine. At the end of the turn, I think we're just going to make 3 1/1s with the Secure the Wastes that the opponent will also have to counter, because that's going to kill them really quickly. And then we might be able to untap and do something fun. So we'll Secure the Wastes for 3. I don't expect this to resolve, but the opponent can't really just let it resolve. They can like snap remand, but then we can search for Azcanta and get the search for Azcanta down, which is certainly more important. Okay, sure. So they're just going to Cryptic Command here. That's fine. All right, so there's the remand. So we can try to get down this search for Azcanta here. All right, cool. That actually does resolve. That's awesome. And then we can get in for 2. So we are actually winning this race right now, which is kind of funny. The opponent will go to 10 before we would... So the opponent would go to 0 while we'd be at 1. So if everything just holds steady, we are actually winning this race, which is kind of funny. There's... I mean, this isn't a great play, but, like, we should use our mana and try to hit land drops. So we're going to do it. Opponent can counter this if they'd like to. But we have 2 in hand, and Cryptic Command's really hard to get in this matchup, especially if they have, like, remands. They certainly have more counters than we do. So them picking up a land and us drawing a card off of this is good. If they counter it, that's amazing. We just don't really care about this counter war. If they Cryptic bounce our search for Azcanta, we're also fine with that. We'll just cast it again. Sweet. All right. So we're actually able to leverage that into a card, which is awesome. Put Growth Spiral in the graveyard, sure. Yes, we'll transform this just because that gives us a land. And a card because we'll be able to use the search for, or the, activate the search for Azcanta. Or the Azcanta, rather. Yeesh. And then they don't have the Field of Ruin for the Celestial Colonnade, which can kill them. Like I said, I don't really think our opponent has very good ways to remove creatures, so that's exciting. All right, we'll take the Mystical Teachings. Mystical Teachings seems a little bit better than a card that we're just never going to be able to resolve in a million years. Ooh, Nimble Obstructionist. That's a good card. We'll let that resolve, and then we'll path it, I guess. Okay, the opponent has 10 lands, so this is like some weird mono-blue control deck. Alright. Ow. We've been hit. Alright, and like I said, we are somehow winning this race. If we crack this Flooded Strand, we're no longer winning the race, but I think the upside of doing so... Yeah, alright, we got Psionic Blasted. Yep, okay, we're at 4. If the opponent has another Psionic Blast, then, yep, alright, we're dead. That's awesome. Alright, cool. So, mono blue control. I don't really know what to say. So they're probably like a Delver deck. Probably don't have good ways to like kill stuff, so maybe we just want to play things to the board. really know. I guess there's a reason why we're in the 1-2 bracket. Settle seems bad. I don't even know. Like, Cryptic's really bad in mirrors, so maybe we cut a Cryptic and like a Teachings because they have Field of Ruins. Submit like that, and I don't know. Maybe we should put our opponent on the draw or on the play. Let's put our opponent on the play. Let's see what happens. I think because the opponent doesn't really do anything, putting them on the play is pretty good. And also in Magic Online, if you put the opponent on a play, there's like a relatively high chance that they just F6 through their first turn, and it happens a lot. So we'll think about it. We'll say no. This is a great hand. We'll keep this. We're putting the opponent on the play. We're just going to immediately F6. Opponent mulligans to 5. See if they F6 through their turn. They do not. Okay, the opponent looks like they're on a faster start this time. Okay, opponent kept a 1-lander. Yeah, we'll just play this and pass. We want to get down the growth spiral into Night of Autumn. Alright. Maybe the opponent will counter this. No. Okay. So we'll just put that into play. Pass the turn. We do need green mana. Alright, so we'll cast the Night of Autumn. We'll just put 2 counters on it. That's fine. Sure. So obviously the Night of Autumn will win the race here. We'll go ahead and get, I guess, a black source. Sure. Alright, there's the Flooded Strand. The opponent hasn't shown us a Spell Pierce. I think they would have just used it immediately, so I guess I want to just get down this Teferi. Nah, I don't know. Maybe we should have. I think at the end of the turn, if they don't draw a land... Okay, so they do draw a land. So we will just bounce one of the lands with the Cryptic command and draw a card. Oh, we'll just cast the Sphinx's Rev. Yeah, we'll just do what we did the last time. Drawing the Sphinx's Rev is pretty good. I'm trying to, I think, be a little bit too tricky here. Oh, there's something in the ice. Okay, so we'll counter this and draw a card, and then just play Teferi. Ooh, and a growth spiral. All right. All right, so there's Teferi. Opponent might just concede here. Yep. All right, we got our Teferi commandeered. And we'll just kill it. That's amazing. Alright, so Commandeer for the longest time was broken on Magic Online, and I'm so glad they fixed it. It's one of my favorite cards ever, but I'm happy I played around Commandeer. I didn't attack with the Night of Autumn first. Made a big difference, so our opponent only has 3 cards in hand. I don't know. Sometimes Magic's a great game, and this is one of those examples where, you know, this game's just great. So we should just try to tax our opponent's mana. We'll just keep attacking with this Night of Autumn because we're winning this race by a mile. If the opponent's not casting things, then we can't really lose. I guess they could just have a bunch of... what's that card called? The Psionic Blast, which is one of my favorite cards also. Alright, so at the end of the turn, we'll try to overload them by casting Rev here. make them like remand it or something. Sure, there's the remand. So then we can play the Search for Azcanta. Or we can just main phase it. Kind of like that, actually. So we'll just cast it for 3 here. Opponent has to have like exactly Dispel. Okay, so they don't. And then we can play Azcanta. Sure. Alright. Put Misty in the graveyard. No. Transform, yes. Play land. Play Knight of Autumn. We can remand our own knight, which is cool. Snapcaster. Sure. Alright, so they're going to remand our Knight of Autumn. We'll just remand their remand. So we'll remand the remand. That's fine. Put 2 counters on it. And then we'll just path the Pteramander, because I don't want to lose to it. Fetch here down to 11. Just get an island, pass the turn. We will activate Azcanta. Sure. Alright, we'll get a Wilderness Reclamation, which is probably our best draw. Opponent clicks us, which is fine, because we have a Snapcaster Mage, so we can just Snapcaster Path it, or use the Azcanta and hopefully find another Wilderness Reclamation, which would be even better. Oh, the opponent took the snap. I don't understand. Alright. I don't think the opponent knows what beats them. So play the Wilderness Reclamation. Activate this. Take the path. Play that tapped. Just keep that back. Untap everything. Path the click. Sure, that's fine. Sure. Alright, so we'll start off here by casting this Illumination because, yeah, if we draw lands, then these growth spirals get better. So we'll go green, blue, cast the growth spiral, play a land, green, blue, cast the growth spiral, play a land, get a tap land, activate this, get an Illumination, pass the turn, untap, play a land, activate Azcanta, get an Illumination, play a Wilderness Reclamation, so we only have 24 cards left in our library. Yeah, I was going to say, our opponent is just very dead here. Alright, cool. So mono, blue, they do have like Vapor Snags and stuff, so maybe these Knight of Autumns are just bad. I don't know. We'll bring in another path, because they did have a lot of creatures. everything that they have like flies, so it doesn't block well either. Settle seems bad, but maybe it's fine. I don't know. All right, we'll just do that. Alright, this hand's really good. Opponent is on the play here, which is interesting. I was curious if they would put us on the play, because we put them on the play. Which I'm not sure is correct or not, but, I mean, they mulliganed a bunch, and we just kind of beat them with card advantage, so seemed pretty good. We could have considered taking out the Field of Ruin. I guess maybe just, like, Field of Ruining their Field of Ruin. I'm going to fetch now because I'm playing around Shadow of Doubt because the opponent is mean and seems like they could play a card like Shadow of Doubt. So, if you've ever gotten Shadow of Doubted and there's no reason to not play around it, you should just play around it because getting Shadow of Doubted is not fun. Alright. In response to that, I'm going to Growth Spiral. Alright, cool. And then I'm going to do this and then also immediately fetch while they don't have the lands up. We'll get a white source, so the Hallowed Fountain comes in. Sure. Alright, and there's the Field of Ruin. That's fine. There's actually probably some benefit here of just Field of Ruining their Field of Ruin right now, so I guess we just do that. I guess we'll just get a Plains. Sure. I think here we're definitely just going to fire off a Snapcaster Mage as a attacker. Especially with the opponent being 2 spells off of getting the Pteramander bigger, or both Pteramanders bigger. I think it's still fine. Because we'll definitely trade one for the Pteramander. Yeah, we'll definitely trade for a Pteramander. Ooh, Illumination's a really good draw. Alright, sweet. So we'll attack our opponent for 2 here. Play this, and then we can either Snapcaster Growth Spiral or just Illumination at the end of the turn. Try to play like a really weird beatdown deck roll here. Attempt to draw 2, because then we can just Snapcaster Mage to draw 2 later. Or the next turn. Sure, so we just get it remanded, that's fine. Ooh, there's a wreck. Alright. So next turn, there's going to be some benefit to forcing our opponent to do something because we can Reclamation. Spellskite's fine. It blocks really well, which sucks, but okay. Alright, well that's something. Alright, so we're going to start off with the Flooded Grove, because then we can Growth Spiral into the Celestial Colonnade pretty much at any point. And it's probably worth just making our opponent use a Remand or something on this. Yeah, okay, so there's the Remand. And Yeah, we'll pass the turn. No reason to attack, because the Spellskite is not actually a defender, which is kind of funny. Opponent has 5 cards in hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they can spend all but 1 mana to make the Pteramander big. Another Pteramander, okay. Alright, so they're doing that. We'll block the Spellskite. There's no real reason to not to. Alright. And we'll cast a Growth Spiral. Put a Colonnade into play. Alright. Opponent plays a Vendilion Click. This is fine. Okay. So the opponent... Alright, so we're going to get all of these things down. We're going to play the Colonnade. Then we'll untap all of our lands once. And then we'll cast this Growth Spiral. That's hot. Alright, so we drew the Teachings. So we'll put an island onto the battlefield. Then we'll float all this mana. Alright. Alright. Cool. Alright. So we'll do that. Untap everything. Cast Teachings. We'll go ahead and get... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we'll have 10 mana left over. So we can just cast a really big Sphinx's Rev. Yeah, let's do that. If they have, like, exactly Dispel, I'm going to be really sad. But I haven't seen anything like that yet. And, yeah, there we go. All right, cool. So we go to 21. We'll discard this and this and a Remand, I guess. And an island, and we have to discard one more too. Discard a Remand. There we go. All right. So I don't think our opponent can actually deal us 21 damage. I think we're pretty safe here. Our opponent might be able to make a couple of these big, but then we can just like path away pretty much their entire board at end step and take another turn. So that's kind of cool. Alright, they made one of them big. That's fine. Alright, so we go to 11. There's another Wilderness Reclamation. Okay. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Cast Reclamation. Cast Escanta. We'll attack our opponent. We're going to do all this now so that the opponent has to take some damage here. So, like, sure, they're going to move this over to a Spellskite. That's fine. We'll path this one while we're thinking about it. And we'll path that one also while we're thinking about it. Oh, the opponent could have changed them all to Spellskite. So that was definitely not smart. But that's okay. Whatever. I would have figured it out after. Well, basically, the opponent's not going to get another turn, so it doesn't really matter. But all right, so we're going to go 1, 2, untap, and then just I think actually we could just win here. So I guess the opponent could have. So we have to play around Commandeer. All right, so that we could just win the game here under like most circumstances, but we should play around Commandeer, just because I think that's just the smart thing to do. So like if the opponent commandeers here, then we just Mystical Teachings for the counter spell. Yeah, okay, so the opponent actually did have commandeer. That's so funny. Alright. We have to play around commandeer. This is just awesome. Alright. So we do that, and then we'll just Cryptic Command. Counter the commandeer and draw a card. And then I don't even. Alright, Snapcaster, Rev, and then we'll just Rev for a bunch here again. Yeah, okay, the opponent concedes. Alright, whew. Playing around Commandeer, up to a 2-2. Let's try to cash the league. And welcome to round 5. Wow. Ugh. To the 5th match. Alright, so we have the turn 3 Cryptic Command hand, which is really good. On the play, we have these Flooded Strand promos, which I kind of like. There's just, I don't know. I kind of like it. I wish that there was more prairie and less cloud in it, I guess, if that makes sense. Maybe there's probably a reason to play a Misty here in case the opponent goes like Simian Spirit Guide, Sorcerer Spyglass or something like that. That way we don't just like lose. Okay. Some sort of taxes, I guess. Or humans, maybe. Just like a weird humans draw. Okay. I'll just yield to that. Okay, the opponent just plays another planes and passes. Interesting. Interesting. Please let my growth spiral. Okay, I got Mana Tide. We're playing all of the weird decks today. Sure, sure, sure. Okay. Mana Tide in Modern. Am I supposed to play around another one? I guess. Alright, I'm playing around another Mana Tide here. Sure. So the one thing that's actually kind of funny, though, is that we're super fine with the Mana Tide. Like, yeah, that... But the opponent is an Aether Vial deck with Mana Tides. And, like, Aether Vial is card disadvantage. And the Mana Tide isn't doing anything, so... Alright, I guess we Growth Spiral now in response to the Gideon. And I'm not going to fetch with the Aether Vial up because they could have the Leon Arbiter, and I don't want to just Stone Rain myself. So Gideon of the Trials is a good card against us, but it is a relatively slow clock compared to some of the other stuff that, you know, that some of the decks can do. So not terribly too worried about it. Maybe I should be, though. Like, I could just be totally wrong in my assessment. Teachings, that's great. So we can just Teachings for Path if we need to. I'm just going to play that. I don't, like I said, want to get got by Leon and Arbiter. And if they activate this Vial, I'm fetching in response. Yeah, fetching in response. We'll get a... Oh, I guess I can't get a Plains with this. Alright, we'll just get an Island then. Sarah Avenger. I like that card. Okay. Leonin Arbiter. Alright, that's fine. Oh, so I should have cast this Mystical Teachings first because, yeah, this is not ideal, I guess. Alright. So that becomes a 4/4, so then we just return this and draw a card, because that means they can't cast it here. Yeah, alright, so we'll just return that, draw a card. Alright, we drew Teachings, which, as I said, is a little problematic. Sure. So then we need to pay 6 mana to cast the Teachings because of the search, which kind of sucks. So we can do it this turn to get a path. We could also just cast our... we need to pay 7. Oof, we need to pay 7. Ooh, all right, so we're definitely just going to cast Rev for 2 then, I guess. We can't even activate the Colonnade. Okay. Eesh. All right, so we're definitely getting taxed pretty hard here. Okay. So that happens, and then they choose that. And in response, well, not in response, but we'll rev for 2 here up to 9. Draw another teach. Oh, there's a Wilderness Reclamation. Okay, all right, all right, all right. Wilderness Reclamation is big deal. Big deal. All right, because then we can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This, play the Reclamation. Oh, we should have paid 2 first. Ah, oh, man, I'm going to be shorting myself a mana this way. All right. So we play this, or do that. 1, 2, pay for this. Search. Oh, that's only down to 7. Eesh. Yeah, I think I screwed this up. I definitely screwed this up. So now we're going to take 4, 7. Yeah, we're just dead. Trying to so if we paid 2 and then fetched, we would have had access to 1 more. Now we would have had access to the same amount of, or we would have had access to 1 more mana, which would have allowed us to pass. I don't know if that would have won us the game though. I don't think it would have. All right, so we'll bring that in. We'll bring in the Cast Out and the Settle the Wreckage. Cut remands against the Vile deck and maybe a Mystical Teaching just because we saw how bad it was there. Yeah, submit like that. Alright. Yes, we'd love to go first. Yeah, this hand's fine. It's not, like, amazing, but it's fine, so we'll keep it. The double search for Ascanta is awkward, but maybe they probably have multiple ways to blow up enchantments, or ways to blow up the land once we flip it, so maybe having 2 isn't the worst. So we'll go ahead and we will get a Hallowed Fountain here. Well, that's not great. We'll go ahead and play a Search for Ascanta so that we hopefully draw lands. Opponent goes up with the Aether Vial. Dried Militant is actually weirdly good against us. Yeah, let's put Snapcaster in the graveyard. Alright, we drew a land. That's good. Alright. More Dried Militant. Man, this is rough in terms of the beats here. We're getting... Oof. We got Mutavaults too? Jeez. Alright. Well, if we get... So we're going to... Illumination first, and then Growth Spiral, I guess. Alright, so there's that. And then we'll Growth Spiral. If they have the Mana Tithe, then, you know, good for them. Mana Tithe me, bro. Mana Tithe me. That's fine. Sure. Alright. Put Remand in the graveyard. Yes. Alright, we'll play the non-fetch land so that way the Cryptic Command hopefully does something. End of the turn, the opponent will put into play what? A Selfless Spirit. Okay. That's definitely lower in terms of the, like, we care meter. Opponent's going to be up to 3 cards in hand and have 8 power. That's a lot of power. Yeah, these Dried Militants are really good against us. Like, really good. Alright, so we're definitely tapping stuff down now. Oh, and I guess bouncing the other Mutavault? No, I think we're just tapping. Alright. No, we do want to draw a Path to Exile. That seems like a really good one. Okay. Alright, so we actually do need to draw pretty well then. We need to draw like almost exactly Settle the Wreckage here. And it sucks because we have 4 cards here, so we would have flipped the Search for Azcanta if we would have man. Alright. So we'll path the Mutavault, I guess. Now we'll path the Dried Militant. We're going to 2. Yeah, so if the Dried Militants weren't around, we'd be in really good shape because we'd have flipped this. We could take another turn with Nexus of Fate and hope to hit something. But like as it is... So Snapcaster Mage, yeah, we're just dead. We don't even have the path or anything in the graveyard. Yeah, good game. All right. Well, what did we learn today? I guess we learned that this deck has definitely some bad matchups. Playing against LSV was cool. I'm gonna post this video because we played against LSV and we're victorious. But in general, I guess this deck has a little bit of work to do, and I'll try to work on it. And you know, maybe we can. Eventually get where we need to be.